What if I told you that for centuries, Tibetan monks have been hiding a simple ritual that breaks all the rules of karma? They call it dangerous because it's too powerful, it's too accessible, and too fast, just 10 minutes a day. Why do they hate this practice? Because it takes power away from fate and gives it to you. Are you ready to learn the secret to making your karma work for you instead of against you? Then watch to the end, or risk never knowing how to stop being a puppet in the hands of the universe. Imagine yourself standing on the edge of a precipice. On one side is your past, mistakes, regrets, chains dragging you down. On the other is the future, bright as the Himalayan dawn. In between is a bridge 10 minutes long. Yes, just 600 seconds a day. The Tibetan monks know this path, but they fear it will fall into the wrong hands, because whoever dares to walk it will change the rules of the game forever. Today, I will show you how to overcome fear, doubt, and even the laws of karma. But I warn you, after this clip, your excuses will be the first to die. Do you still believe that karma is a judgment? Then consider this. Monks in the mountains of Tibet sleep on cold stone, eat once a day, and pray for hours. But they shudder at the thought of you learning this method. And why is that? Because it does not require asceticism or suffering. Just 10 minutes and the courage to say, "My destiny is me." If you're willing to challenge even what you've believed for years, let's get started. Karma is not a jailer, it is a mirror. It reflects not who you are, but what you believe. Tibetan monks know that if you break this mirror, reality will shatter and you can put it back together again. But how? The first step is to smash the illusion. Every morning when you open your eyes, say out loud, "Today, I don't believe my story." Does that sound easy? That's why monks hate it. They've been teaching for years that karma is complicated, and here it's just 7 words that erase the past. Now, the secret practice of Buddha's shadow. In Tibetan monasteries, students are given a task to sit with their backs to the sun and watch their shadow. They tell them, "This is your karma," and then they're told, "Stand up and kick it. You can do it too." Every day at noon, go out into the sun and look at your shadow and say, "You are not me. You're just a trace." It only takes 1 minute, but in a week, you will notice how the shadow of past mistakes no longer haunts you. Why do monks fear this method? Because it steals their power. They teach that karma must be purified over years. But I'll show you the time illusion. Every night before you go to bed, take a cup of tea, hold it in the palm of your hand, and whisper, "All that was in this day is no longer mine." Drink the tea slowly, imagining that the liquid carries away all deeds, thoughts, and accidents into oblivion. The Buddha said, "Attachment creates suffering," and this practice kills the attachment to one's own actions. Yes, it's that simple, and that's why it's dangerous. Now for the story they don't tell tourists. In the 17th century, a monk named Karma Sangye stole a scroll from a temple that read, "10 minutes to become the god of your destiny." He was banished, but before he died, he carved a message on a stone. Karma fears him who stops counting his steps. That stone still lies in a gorge in the Himalayas, and the method I'm about to reveal to you is his legacy. Are you ready to become the thief of your own destiny? Then let's move on to the main ritual, the ritual of the broken cycle. Minutes 1 to 2. Stand in front of a window, call out, or whisper 3 times. "I am not my deeds." Minutes 3 to 5. Tear a sheet of paper into 12 pieces. On each piece, write something you blame yourself for. Burn them. Minutes 6 to 10. Laugh. Yes, just laugh. For no reason at all, like a crazy person. Monks hate this practice because it breaks their cardinal rule. Karma demands seriousness. But the Buddha said, "He who laughs at his fate becomes stronger than it." They ask, "How does it work?" The answer is in grains of rice. Tibetan monks teach, throw a grain of rice into the ground and you'll grow ears in a year. But that method is like throwing a grain into a fire. It burns, and the ashes are blown away by the wind. It doesn't make sense, does it? But the next day, you plant another seed, and another, and a week later, you realize that you're no longer afraid that the crop won't grow. Because your karma is not the harvest, but the process of planting. But a warning, after 3 days of practice, you may feel anger at yourself, at the monks, at the world. This is normal. In the Tibetan tradition, it's called the storm before the dawn. Your soul is shedding the skin of old karma. At times like this, go outside, take a handful of earth and say, "I give you all that I no longer need." The Buddha taught, the earth will take any poison and turn it into flowers. And so it will. Now imagine that you are a master potter. Your karma is clay. The monks teach, mold it slowly or it will crack. But this method is like hitting the clay with a fist. Yes, the mold breaks, but you can feel the material bending to your will. Every morning when you break your coffee cup on purpose, say, "I break to create." In a week, you will realize that karma is not a form, but the power of your hands. And that power is yours now. Why do the monks keep quiet about this? Because they know that once you start laughing at your mistakes, their rituals lose their power. Consider the story of Lama Dorje. He spent 20 years poring over rosaries and reciting mantras until he found a phrase in an ancient text. Karma is afraid of jokes. Now he teaches clowning to the monks. His method? Every time you feel guilty, do a silly dance. Seriousness is a prison, he says, and the monks are afraid of his popularity. The secret technique of the dragon: on a piece of paper, draw what you feel guilty about. Tie it to a balloon and release it into the sky. When it's out of sight, shout, "No longer my burden." The Buddha said, the attachment to sin is heavier than the sin itself. This ritual destroys both chains. And yes, the monks hate it, because their temples are filled with people who pay to be purified. You'll do it for free in 3 minutes. But be prepared for a miracle. On the 7th day of practice, something strange will happen. You'll forget what you've been blaming yourself for. You'll wake up thinking, what if I've already been forgiven? That is the moment of rebirth. In Tibetan texts, it's called death without death. You are no longer the one who made mistakes. You're the one who let them go. And karma, like a dog without a master, begins to follow you instead of the other way around. Remember, the monks are afraid that you will find out the truth. Karma is not a law, it is a habit. Your habit of believing that there is a price to pay for every action. But what if it's a lie? Imagine carrying a stone on your back for years, thinking that's the way it has to be. And then someone says, you can drop it, and you drop it. Nothing happens. Just lightness. That's the hacking of karma, to stop believing in its immutability. Now you're going to ask, what about good karma? Does it disappear too? Because goodness is not duty, it is freedom. When you feed a hungry person not out of fear of bad karma, but out of love, that is real power. Monks know that such an act immediately changes reality, but they remain silent, for then their mantras and candles become unnecessary. Practice the silence of the volcano. Each time you want to say, "I can't change it," put your palm over your mouth and breathe through your nose for 30 seconds. The Buddha called this killing the demon of helplessness. After a week, you'll find that the phrase, "I can't," has disappeared from your vocabulary. It's been poisoning your karma for years. A final warning: after 10 days of practice, your life will begin to change too quickly. You will meet random people. You will receive unexpected offers. Even your enemies will start helping you. Don't be afraid. This is karma finally breathing in harmony with your heart. The monks call it escaping fate. You will call it the life you've always dreamed of. If you have watched this far, you are not the same person you were 10 minutes ago. Your karma is shaking like an autumn leaf in the wind, and now the choice is yours. Continue to believe you're a victim of circumstance, or take the power the monks have tried to hide for centuries. But remember, power loves the brave, and you're already brave for daring to find out. Write "I'm challenged" in the comments if you're ready to start the 10-day experiment, or "My karma is me" if you already feel your heart changing. Your words will be the map for my next videos, and yes, every like is a signal to the universe. I'm ready for more, and every subscription is a step into a world where the impossible becomes the rule. Thank you for letting me be your guide in this silent revolution. Remember, somewhere in the Himalayas, a monk is biting his lip because he knows you are stronger now. And in the next video, I'll show you how to erase someone else's influence on your destiny in 5 minutes. See you at the peak of your power. And remember, you're already holding the hammer that breaks all chains. Just strike.